And we are live. We have a new host. Is that Kepler, the podcaster?
He's a little bit big as a lap dog. How's he look?
He just got his bath today.
Somebody get a screenshot.
All right, let me
Wait,
get
talk
a
into the
screenshot.
microphone. Talk into the mic. Up here, right there. Talk into the mic.
Let me get another one. He's moving about.
Okay. Oh, get your foot off the keyboard.
All right, up Kepler, up.
All right.
Oh, there's a good one. We're good.
Okay. I think we're going to let you out. That's 50 pounds of dog there. Hang on. Okay. All right, Captain. Good job. Bye.
All right.
I figured we used to let Tess on all the time, and I hadn't let you guys see Kepler in a long time.
Now his head is in my lap.
Oh, good.
He's just looking for laps. And we're not talking about running. While Lynn is here, I'd like to thank her for those wonderful brownies that she brought by. Oh, he's got my cable. No, stop. Okay, that's enough. You have to.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm not watching you.
You have to go lay down. Yeah.
Did you pick him up?
No, but he got my cable. Anyway, thank you, Lynn. Those were great brownies. Probably some of the best we've ever had, I think.
I don't even want to say some of the best. I think those were the best brownies I've ever had. But here's a freaky fact about your brownies, Lynn. I was going to tell you about this. They don't pair well with popcorn. Now, it sounds strange because everything goes with popcorn, but it doesn't work. They were somehow flavorless paired with popcorn. So I thought, okay, maybe they were old because I've had them for a few days, but I ate a couple today and they were fantastic. So I thought that was very odd.
Only you would pair brownies and popcorn. Of course, you pair everything with popcorn.
Exactly. It should be Allison loves popcorn.
I think that's one of your primary food groups.
Yeah, I have a
kind of like the elf when he talks about candy.
Candy
cane,
corn.
candy syrup, candy corn.
Let me see if I can find the photo. I just took a photo the other day. Oh, it's just entitled, I think I have a popcorn problem. Because I had so much popcorn. Too much popcorn. Nope, didn't mark it apparently. Let's see. I think we've done everything. Should we go ahead and... Oh, roll call.
No,
we
did
have
not do roll call.
Lynn and Kevin and Bruce and Frank and Jill and... Lynn's in the regular place. I said her first, thinking she was in the sidebar. And John and Sutter and Ron and Sandy and Steven.
Zoe made it this week.
Yes, that's very exciting. I love having Zoe
Welcome,
here.
Zoe.
In February, we have a 6-hour layover in Heathrow. Does that count?
Yes. I'm sure she was planning on being there. Almost.
We seem to always have 6-hour layovers in Heathrow. All right, I think I'm going to get started. Well, where are we going in February? We are going to Finland and Estonia. How crazy
Finland.
is that? Yeah, that was kind of a spur of the moment thing. Dr. Andrea Ghez, the astrophysicist, Nobel Prize winning astrophysicist that I interviewed on the show, she's going to be speaking on a little trip around Finland where we're going to go. We're going to stay in these domed rooms that are like all glass ceilings so you can see the northern lights. We're going to do dog sledding and we're going to tramp around in snowshoes at moonlight.
I saw some cross-country skiing might be available too.
Oh, that would be fun. I think the draw in Estonia is it's right next to Finland. It's a 2-hour ferry ride across, or maybe shorter than that.
I think it's just
a ferry
south.
ride straight south. Yeah.
Pretty small country.
Didn't have Estonia on my bucket list, but Steve had the Northern Lights on his bucket list, so seems like a good thing to do. We're going to be way above into the Arctic Circle this time, not just barely in the Arctic Circle like when we were in Iceland. So yeah.
Is that Lapland up there?
Lapland is in where we're going when we go way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to start. What do you think, Steve?
Yes.
Here we go. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeet.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, August 24th, 2025, and this is show number 1059. Says I should save this as something. Why is it so slow? Got to keep our text expander snippet that seems to run slow when saving files from Hindenburg. I don't know why. All right. We are going to start with this one. And here. I'm going to start with the happy story and then the sad story.
Oh, wait, you're not starting with Pet Libro then?
I am starting with Pet Libro.
Oh, I see. That being the happy story.
Right?
Got it.
It's a happier story than the other one.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Water? Oh, that sounds fun, Ron. Okay, here we go. Just last week, I told you about our cool new Pet Libro 1 RFID automated cat feeders that are helping us keep our... That's not recording, is it? Just last week, I told you about our cool new Pet Libro 1 RFID automated cat feeders that are helping us keep our cats on the right diets. I left out one part of the story when I explained that you could buy them individually or in bundles. When we received the order confirmation on the pair as a bundle, we also got a shipping notice for a bonus extra prize, an automated water fountain. Turns out it's part of the bundle, but you can also buy one of these devices individually if you like. The fountain they sent us is called the Capsule Dog Fountain, and it retails for $60, but there's a 15% off coupon right now, bringing the price down to $51. Now, they say it's for dogs, but we found that our cats consider all water to be theirs, so my review will be for the entire menagerie's benefit. Before we got this device, the cats had an elevated water bowl of their own, but they often drank out of Kepler's taller elevated bowl. Now, we didn't start out with a problem to be solved since this device sort of just dropped in our laps. I mean, it shipped and showed up, but I can back into the problems it does solve. First of all, our pets' water bowls are swimming with bits of random debris within hours of us rinsing them out. The cats manage to track cat litter into the water bowls, leaving little bits to be rinsed out daily. I'm not sure where Kepler gets all of the dirt he gets into his bowl, but it's a lot. Where Tesla, the best dog in the world, was capable of drinking water without spilling so much as a drop, Kepler is a complete slob. I swear he leaves his mouth open, half full of water as he walks away from the bowl. I've seen water dripping out of his mouth as he walks a good 6 feet away from the bowl. It's a big mess. So let's see how the Capsule Dog Fountain has changed our lives. If it's okay with you, I'm just going to call it the Capsule from here on out. To be fair, I'm going to call it the Capsule whether or not it's okay with you. Anyway, the basic idea of the Capsule is that it's a large 2.1-gallon translucent tank that's shaped like a stadium, round on both ends with 2 flat sides. It's 13.3 inches wide, 10 inches deep, and the back slopes up from 7.3 inches tall in the front to 9.7 inches high in the back. Now, the way I've described it so far, it sounds like a giant bucket of water, but there's so much more to this. Sitting on a ledge on the tank is what they call the serving tray base, which is a sloped plastic piece with a hole in the middle. In the center of the hole, you put a plastic piece that holds a water filter, which we'll get back to in a bit. On top of that, you place another conical plastic piece called the serving tray. The water comes out of the Nope. The water comes out of a recessed spout on one edge of the serving tray on the far side, and that causes a whirlpool-type action as the water drains down a hole in the center of the tray. When the animals drink from the fancy-sounding Too far over. When the animals drink from the fancy-sounding serving tray, water slops out of the serving tray and into the serving tray base, which also flows back down into the tank. Okay. That was just a mistake there. The alert amongst you will realize that I haven't explained what makes water actually flow in the capsule. It's actually quite clever, and it took us by surprise. Now, it was a surprise because we didn't read the manual, and we didn't actually intentionally buy this device. So we just guessed at how the pieces fit together without looking at the manual. There's a small submersible pump that you place into a little indentation on the bottom of the tank. Then there's a silicone rubber pipe with little fins on it that you stick on top of the pump. There's a sealed USB-C cable coming out of the pump that goes up. It's not a USB-C cable, Steve. It's a USB-A cable. Can you make that change?
You're right. USB-A. You want me to change it?
Yes, please. There's a sealed USB-A cable coming out of the pump that goes up and out of an obvious hole above the water line at the back of the tank. After we put the pump at the bottom of the tank, but before we plugged it into power or assembled the rest of it, we started pouring water into the tank, and the pump started to squirt water out of the silicone pipe. It wasn't even plugged in yet. That's when we learned that the pump is a battery-powered... That's when we learned that the pump is battery-powered and water-activated. That's genius, because if a pump runs when the water's gone, it would burn out. Now, we assumed the pump would only work via USB power, but they designed it so it still operates if the power goes out. More genius. And we haven't tested it, but Pet Libro says on their website that the battery will run for 16 hours. If the capsule lost power, the water wouldn't just get stale, it would actually drain out of the serving tray, leaving them nothing at all to drink. Obviously, having this backup battery is critical to keeping the animals alive. It's another reason to make sure someone checks on them when they're away. When we're away. It's another.
Al, you're making some changes I'm not seeing, I think. Did you say when they're away? Because it says
no, that's why I just cut it. That's why I stopped and cut, because I said it wrong.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I'm about to reread it. That's another reason to make sure someone checks on them when we're away. Once the serving tray base was in place, the filter holder was connected to the bottom of the serving tray, and the serving tray was placed on top. The water flowed beautifully up and into the serving tray to the delight of all three of the animals. Steve took the pump's cover off at one point to show me that it's an impeller, which sucks the water into the pump and then up and out of the pipe above. And for the nerds amongst you who appreciate that description, there's an image of it in the show notes. We didn't know the capsule was intended for dogs when we received it. Again, we didn't buy it intentionally, so I was surprised to see in the online description that it's intended for dogs taller than 10.6 inches. Other than some slight trepidation early on by scaredy cat Grace, the cats have zero problems drinking from the capsule. I used my pull-out rule to measure Grace, and she's 13 inches tall, so I guess that's why it works for the cats as well. Pet Libro also says the pump is whisper quiet at 28 decibels. I haven't measured it, though I guess I could with my phone or, I don't know, maybe my watch, but I can tell you, we can't hear the pump at all. We do hear a slight sound gurgling from the water when it's moving, but... We do hear a slight gurgling sound from the water itself moving, but that's it. Now here's the question. Does it solve the problems I described? As far as Kepler's poor table manners are concerned, we still have to keep a rag in front of the capsule for some drippage, with a large tank around... That should be a period after drippage and a capital W to start a new sentence.
Okay.
If you would. For some drippage. But with the large tank around the serving tray and that lip out in the front, it seems to catch the vast majority of the initial drools and dribbles as Kepler departs. No longer are we mopping up half the kitchen floor after he drinks. During the 10 days or so between cleanings, we can see when the water level is getting low because the tank is translucent. Steve says he just uses a pitcher to pour more water in every few days. This is a lot less work than cleaning the cat and dog bowls every single day, and it uses a lot less water, and they have cleaner water. More important, don't read ahead. This is a lot less work than cleaning the cat and dog bowls every single day, and it uses a lot less water. But more importantly, the water stays clean and clear of debris for a very long time. Now, I'm not in charge of the water maintenance for the menagerie, but Steve reports that he changes out the water every 10 days or so. He lifts the serving tray assembly out of the tank, pulls the pieces apart, and rinses out the filter. Now, I don't want to gross anybody out, but I put a picture in the show notes of the filter after 10 days, and now I know where most of that detritus the cats and dog drag into the water. Now, Pet Libro says the magic is in those 5-layer filters. We were skeptical about needing to replace them since rinsing them works pretty well, but after seeing how little maintenance the capsule is versus what we were dealing with before with 3 animals, we gladly bought a 4-pack of filters for $11. Steve replaced the filter after 3 weeks, and he said it definitely needed to be replaced. Now, Pet Libro has other fountains that are super cool and fancy, including ones for cats or smaller animals, and they have one called the DocStream 2 Smart Cordless Fountain. It's probably awesome as well, but I have not tested any of those, so you might want to go look at all the different options if you're intrigued by this idea of a fountain. All I can say is that the Pet Libro capsule fountain was a surprise to get in the mail. It was a But I can say that the Pet Libro capsule fountain was a nice surprise to get in the mail. It was a delight to assemble. It's easy to maintain, it keeps the water clean, and its magical powers somehow minimize the water pouring out of Kepler's mouth. I'll call that a cat win. A cat win? Where you just throwing words in? I'll call that a win across the board. It was Jeez. Now, as I was completing the write-up of this article, I found out that Pet Libro has a very generous referral program. If you use my referral code, not only do I get 30% off whatever I buy next, you get 30% off whatever you buy. Can you guess what my referral link is? Well, if you heard me saying everything good starts with podfeed.com, then you got it. The referral link is podfeed.com/petlibro. That's PETLIBRO. And of course, there's a link in the show notes. If you got dogs or even cats, I can highly recommend the Pet Libro capsule fountain, especially for 30% off. I do want to say Pet Libro is not a sponsor of this show, but man, they should be.
So is the referral code the link itself? If you just go with that link, that enters the code? All right.
Yep. All right.
Now for the sad story.
Wah, wah, wah. I don't know if I should have that happy music, right?
Right. Hey, I guess you don't put that music in front of the first one?
No, because the intro jingle is actually still playing.
All right.
Oh, nice, Mike. Thank you, Kevin. And this one. Well, I'm not sure my happy new little jingle is quite the right one for this story, but let's start in. Before I start, okay, where did that come from? Well, I'm not sure that happy little jingle is appropriate for this sad story, but I decided to use it anyway. Now, before I do tell the story, I want to say up front that I find Elon Musk's ideas and actions abhorrent. With that out of the way, I want to talk about an awesome feature of Tesla cars and how it helped me last week. To refresh your memory or bring you up to speed if you're new here, I drive a fire engine red 2019 Tesla Model 3. Like many modern cars, Teslas have a slew of cameras on them. Several of the cameras are here to assist in automated driving. I can't do a sentence without it. Oh, Mike is buying drinks. Unless he has the answer to my Panic Software transmit question I posted in Slack, and then I'll let him off the hook. Like many modern cars, Teslas have a slew of cameras on them. Several of the cameras are there to assist in automated driving, but some of them are there to assist the driving in just operating the vehicle themselves. I'm going to focus on the latter set of cameras. Teslas have a very wide rear camera, which is super helpful when backing up. To give the driver an even better view, these cars also have two backward-facing cameras on the front left and front right fenders that point out at about 45 degrees. When you combine these three camera views on the one giant display, you can see absolutely everything you need to back up safely. In a recent software update, they even added a feature where the side of the camera view turns bright red if a vehicle is approaching from either side. When we turn on the turn signal, the giant display screen shows the view looking back in that same direction using that same fender camera. So let's say I'm about to turn right at an intersection and I want to kind of start hugging the curb to make the turn. Without turning my head or looking all the way over to the side view mirror, I can already see if there's a bicycle coming up on my right in the display almost in front of me. When they enabled those cameras on the displays a few years after I got the car, I was thrilled. When backing up, both of the backwards-facing fender cams and the rear view camera show on the big display, giving me a perfect view of my surroundings. Even if I'm parked between two big SUVs, I can still safely pull out of a parking place and I know I'm not going to hit anything or, more importantly, anyone. Now, this week I was backing out of a parking place and realized yet another advantage of the combination of all these Tesla views they have on the display. As I was watching the screen for pedestrians and other vehicles behind me using the camera views to the left, right, and center, I had one more piece of information. I was rotating my car to the left and a woman started to walk across from my left in front of the car. Now, I could have seen her out of the front window, but remember, my concentration was on what was behind me as I was driving backwards. On the left side of the screen, Tesla shows the driver an animated view of the vehicle and surrounding objects it detects with other cameras. One of the types of objects it identifies is humans. I saw on that same display where my attention was focused, her figure walking across in front of me. Now, she was never in danger because of the animation, I knew before I put it back into forward that there was now a pedestrian in front of me. This situational awareness that the Tesla sensors give me helps me. This situation. I don't understand why all those companies have those cameras and don't record. The situational awareness the Tesla sensors give me keeps me and the people around me safe every single day. Now, the cameras I've described, along with a front-facing camera that's mostly used for automated driving, all tie into another system on the car called Sentry Mode. If you connect a thumb drive or an SSD that's big enough to the USB connector inside the center console, Sentry Mode will record video from all of these cameras if something's going on with your car, if people are around it, all different situations. The rear-facing camera records at 1280 by 830, while the fender cams record at 724 by 470. So I'm not quite sure whether the views are non-standard and the side view cameras are a little bit smaller, but they do record. Over the years, pretty often we see a Sentry Mode alert on our displays when we come back to our cars. But it's always been a case of maybe somebody getting a little close to the car. Maybe they open their door next to the car, or perhaps walk maybe too close for comfort to the front bumper. In any case, when we get these alerts, we can watch the video of the incident on the display. It's provided mild interest over the years, but never shown anything extraordinary. Now, fast forward to last week when I had an eye doctor appointment. Since I was having my eyes dilated, Steve drove me to the appointment and waited with me. While we were waiting, Steve got a critical alert from my car saying it had been in an accident. He ran down the stairs to the parking lot to deal with the incident. It turns out a 15-year-old with only his driver's permit was driving his dad in his Volvo because Dad also had just had his eyes dilated and he had hit my car. The first good news from Sentry Mode is that it sent the alert. Now, I was curious why I didn't get the alert, so I looked at notifications on my phone and discovered that I had critical alerts turned off. I assure you, I toggled them on. But here's the cooler part. In the Tesla app on my phone, I was able to watch video of exactly what happened because of Sentry Mode. The inexperienced driver backed out of the parking place next to me, partially straightened up the wheel, and proceeded forward. Fortunately, he didn't turn the wheel back sufficiently to complete the process of backing out and straightening up. In fact, not by a long shot. As a result, he drove straight into the back of my car. Now, the rear camera above my license plate showed the Volvo straightening up and then get close enough that you could clearly see the license plate, and then it plowed right into my car. I put the video of him plowing into my car, but for privacy... What do you mean I put the video? I put the video in the show notes. So can you add, I put the video of him plowing into my car in the show notes?
Okay.
Thank you. I put the video of him plowing in. Thank you. I put the video of him plowing into my car in the show notes, but for his privacy, Steve obscured the license plate. Now, the right fender camera captured two different events. First, it captured the car backing out, turning toward the back of my car, and then hitting my car's rear end. At the tail of this view, you can see the dad get out of the passenger side to look at the damage. That's how we know he wasn't driving. But the fender cam recorded another segment a minute or two later. It shows the kid walking around from behind the Volvo to inspect the damage on the back of my car. You can clearly see his face, you can see what he was wearing, and you can see his build. While he's assessing the damage, the Volvo drives to the next parking stall, which means the dad must have taken over at that point. In the video, we obscured the young man for his privacy. He's already having a bad enough time, I think, so when we put the video in the show notes, we figured we'd obscure his face. Actually, I gotta do that again. In the video, that video is in the show notes as well, but we obscured the young man in his entirety for his privacy. You know, he's already having a bad enough time. Now, the good news is this was not a hit and run. Steve is quite fleet of foot, and they were still at the accident scene when he arrived. He says the son was clearly distressed by what was most likely his first accident, or we can only hope it was his first accident. Steve was able to get photos of the driver's licenses and insurance information on the spot, and there was no question about whose fault it was. But if this had been a hit and run, because of Tesla's Sentry mode, we had video of the accident, including his license plate, the make of the car, and exactly what the driver looked like. If you've ever had to call the insurance company after an accident of any sort, having an eyewitness is gold. But guess what's even better and makes the process super smooth? Video of the entire incident. Now, the bad news is it'll take about a month or 5 weeks, I think, for my car to be repaired because the damage was extensive. Since it was a giant SUV, its bumper didn't just destroy my bumper, it severely dented my trunk as well. According to the repair shop, both cannot be repaired and both will need to be replaced. I feel bad for the dad, man. Insurance on a teenage boy costs an absolute fortune, more than for girls, because I think they get more accidents. I cannot imagine how much that poor dad is going to have to pay now with an accident on the policy, even before his son has his license. If you see the video of the kid looking at what he's done, it's actually kind of heartbreaking to watch. Another reason we obscured him. This incident increases my appreciation for Tesla cars. I always assumed other cars had this kind of feature too, but of the EVs currently on the market, what I can find is that only Rivian, the Cadillac Lyriq, and BMW, if you buy their drive assist feature, and BMW, the Cadillac. Now, let's see. I always assumed other cars had this kind of feature too. But of the EVs currently on the market, the ones that I could find were Rivian, and I think you had to buy an extra package for it, the Cadillac Lyriq, and some people reported it wasn't turned on, so maybe you have to call to get it turned on. And then BMW, if you buy their Drive Assist Plus feature, also have similar systems to Tesla's Sentry mode. There is a lot to love about my car, and now I love it even more. I can't wait to get my baby back sometime in September. The good news is the kid didn't hurt anyone with his inexperienced driving. I'm very grateful that it's just stuff and it's just an inconvenience. There we go. Did I miss anything? Did she get a Tesla rental? Yeah, we didn't end up getting a rental car. They asked us if we wanted one, but Steve's sister works for an insurance company, and she said one of the things we can ask for is payment for loss of use. And it's supposed to be like $30 to $50 a day. And Steve and I rarely go any place without each other. If he goes somewhere, I'm usually just hanging out at home. So we figure we can take that money and then just rent a car or Uber or something if we ever need to be two places at once, two different places at the same time. So anyway. Yeah, front and rear dash cams could be good things. Yeah, get that. I'm not going to drive a giant truck. I don't like big vehicles. I really don't. Could you tell my disdain on that when I said because it was a giant SUV? If that had been a normal size car, it wouldn't have been as much money.
Volvos are big, but they're not near as big as an F-150 or something like that.
No.
Yeah.
But it was. You can see in the car in the video how much higher that thing is than my bumper.
Yeah.
You do love trucks. I don't like big vehicles.
He does pull out really slowly, and he starts pulling forward slowly, but then he seems to accelerate. I think he may have hit the gas instead of the brake. It's kind of.
But what about turning?
Yeah, well, I don't know
what gas instead of brake, but how about the turning part?
I can't explain that.
You're directly at something. Like he was going back, he did hit the brake. Right?
He did turn.
He stopped to go forward.
And he did turn slightly enough to aim right at your car.
Maybe, Steve, maybe they hate Teslas.
That could be it. That could be it.
It really could be, don't you? No, but seriously, it's the only explanation.
So. Would he crash into a car with his...
I mean, what if the dad just went, oh, I hate those things.
Hit that red Tesla.
Oh, I mean, is that possible?
I don't think that. It's highly unlikely. I don't think most rational people would do that.
All right, let's hear how fast I can read the 2017 patrons. The lifeblood of the NosillaCast, Chit Chat Across the Pond, and Programming by Stealth are the people who quietly support the show every single week through Patreon. I'd like to thank those who've been funding the work here since 2017. We've got Raleigh, John, Stim, Rick, Stephen, Mike, Bruce, Thomas, Tom, Linda, Kenneth, and Chris. If you'd like to be awesome like them, please go to podfeet.com/Patreon and donate as little as $1 an episode. There, how was that? That was fast. Oh, popped over a curb? Oof.
So I'm surprised your Patreon feed is patreon.com/podfeet. I thought it was everything good starts with podfeet.com. Shouldn't it be podfeet.com/Patreon?
It is podfeet.com/Patreon. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at something which is patreon.com/podfeet.
Where are you looking at?
In your show notes. Support the show.
It says podfeet.com/Patreon. Does not say patreon.com/podfeet.
Okay. Maybe it's redirected it. And I see
Did
the
you
redirected
hit the link?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. Those are redirects. All of them are.
Okay.
Podfeet.com/
And I can't see the link, the raw link in because it's been converted to text.
What?
It's support the show. So what shows is
support the show, right?
Yeah.
And when you hit the link, it goes with Podfeet. That's how redirects work.
That's fine. I got it.
Okay.
Tage Bushman. Who's that?
Tage Bushman. He is a really interesting guy. He's a teacher at a tech university. A tech college, I should say. It's not a university. And he's a podcaster, too. Let's see how this transitions.
No blog post.
No, it's not a lie. It's $1 an episode. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Chit Chat Across the Pond. This is episode number 819, and I'm recording it on July 25th. I have no idea when I'm actually going to play this because I already recorded an episode today, but I'm your host, Allison Sheridan. And I want to remind the audience of about a couple of weeks ago when I was getting ready for MacStock to do a presentation and I was going to include some stuff about screenshots. I was trying to figure out how to take a screenshot of the screenshot app. And I described in the podcast about how all these great people came out of the woodwork to help me figure out a way to do it. And the first person, and actually the winner with the highest quality of a screenshot, was a lovely gentleman named Teg Bushman. Teg and I have been chatting, and I thought he sounded like an interesting guy, and I should invite him onto the podcast. So welcome to the show, Teg.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have been able to help somebody who...
I bet you can't hear Teg, can you?
I could hear him.
You could?
Yeah.
Huh. I thought you guys couldn't when I didn't to the podcast. So welcome to the show, Teg.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have been able to help somebody who is so knowledgeable in things. I was like, wow, I was able to help somebody who I didn't think would ever need my help.
Well, that's actually perfect for the talk I was doing. Was called Chain of Happiness. And it was about how no matter how much you know, somebody knows more than you do. And no matter how little you know, somebody knows less than you. And it's because we all know about different things. And it's all about helping each other. And that you could not walk into my talk better than that. That was great. So the reason I wanted to get you on the show was because you mentioned that you're a professor at Western Technical College. And I have no idea what it's like to teach technology, to teach IT stuff in today's day and age, because I'm guessing it's slightly different than when I went to college in 1976. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. So, but I'm going to start us back a little bit more at the beginning. How did you early on get interested in technology?
So I'm, not young necessarily anymore. I think I've hit that pinnacle. Actually, my birthday was just yesterday as we record this, but, mid 40s, we'll say.
I'm going to slide him over just a little bit. I feel like he's just slagging just a smidge there. In technology.
So and you'll never know it all.
I think that's a perfect description because there are a lot of people who don't like it when things change computing wise. And some of them can still enjoy computers, but there's a lot of people who don't enjoy it because it's changing. Why did they have to move those menus? Why did they have to do this? And so if you enjoy the challenge that, okay, what I knew yesterday is no longer good enough. Now I need to know this. Yay. That's a fun thing.
Yeah. And sometimes it actually ends up being better. And people forget that sometimes, if you don't have something that changes, you're going to be stuck doing something that maybe is terrible. Now, something I will say from being an instructor and also from just being somebody who's a tech enthusiast, I'm sure you've had this happen in your life too, and I'm sure listeners have had this happen, that we don't do ourselves or the industry a lot of favors because we don't explain things very well to non-technical people. And I think that's where people get frustrated with technology is people don't like to feel stupid. And if you move and change things and it becomes challenging. And so I think that the industry could do a lot better at trying to bring non-enthusiasts into the fold and not have that attitude of, well, don't you know just to click on this and click on that, idiot? Because I've run into those people, and that's not the attitude to have.
I will body slam people when I hear them do that to somebody else. One of my favorite things when I was working, I ran an IT organization, and my administrative assistant was really smart and had zero knowledge in IT. So I would go and try to explain things to her, and she knew what I was doing. I was like, if I could get her to grasp it, if I could give analogies that would make her be able to understand, it was perfect. So I started with somebody smart but not educated in it, and she was perfect to soundboard with. I really enjoyed doing that. So you said that you first got a computer. You didn't say what kind. It wasn't a Mac in 92?
It was not a Mac.
Or
It was
neighbor?
oh goodness. It was I don't even remember what it was. It was a green screen, and it was I assume some type of DOS thing going on because it was all green text and crazy. We ended up eventually getting some type of Windows machine. We did Windows 3.1 or something back in the day. Our family friend that got me interested in it he taught at the at Empire College, which was kind of like a technical college in Santa Rosa, California, and he was doing the computer support program there. And so I would go on the weekends with him when he was imaging, not imaging, I guess it wasn't imaging back then, but would be installing Windows on multiple computers with floppy disks going from computer to computer. And it was crazy, but I learned a lot from just sitting in the classroom while he was teaching and tutoring students and stuff. And but never got the paper for it, right? Because like you know, they tell you sometimes you need the paper to know that you know what you're doing. And I never got that till years and years and years later, but realized that I needed that. So, but it was a lot of fun. I didn't get into Macs. I know this is a slight Apple bias thing going on, but
Ever so slight.
until 2005, and I had a coworker who was getting rid of his old G3 tower thing, and I was like, yeah, I'll take that. It was like $50 or something. And I used to love, this is so stupid, but I would go into CompUSA and I'd go over when they had the eMac, that one that's on like the cool arm, and I'd play
the
with that, and
education.
then I would maximize and minimize apps because I thought that was just the most magical animation, and it made me want to max so bad.
I used to go to CompUSA and answer people's questions. Just Saturdays, I'd just go hang out there, and invariably, they'd be telling them the wrong information. And when the person that worked there moved away, I'd go, okay, here's what you really want to know.
That still happens at Best Buy. You'll go in and you'll hear them saying something, and you're like, that's wrong. That's wrong.
Maybe not. So you got into Macs around what year?
That was like 2005, 2006 is when I first got.
Okay.
And then, of course, Intel happened, and of course, I jumped on that, and that's when I got my first new Mac, and that was a great experience.
Yeah, that's fun. It's amazing that they've made so many shifts chip wise and successfully rode surf those waves in at the right point. So now, what career did you have at this point?
Oh gosh, well, I've done a lot of different things. I'll try to compress it because it's probably not what everybody wants to hear about. But I got out of high school. I worked for a movie theater for a few years. I was an assistant manager there, which I still miss. Film, like it was cool threading a projector and all that kind of stuff. Great industry to kind of work in. It was, even though it was kind of a low paying job, it was very kind of prestigious in the community because you got to see movies for free, and how cool is that? Then I worked retail for a few years. Then I was working at an internet service provider. If you are in California, you've probably heard of Sonic. They used to be Sonic.net, but they finally
Yeah.
got the rights to be Sonic, which we would get tickets about people's messed up hamburgers and stuff from the Sonic drive-through sometimes, which I thought was always confusing when we'd email back and be like, we're an internet provider. But I worked for them for a few years, and that's where I got into Macs and got into Linux because all of the servers there ran on Linux. So most of my work was done through a web browser and through a Linux terminal to look through log files and help, do pinging to people's modems and stuff like that. Was all terminal applications. And then I moved to Wisconsin, which is a long story, but I moved from California to Wisconsin. They allowed me to continue to remote work for a while. And then I went back to retail. And then I got a job working at the city here where I live, doing IT work as like a help desk technician, but didn't have an education yet. Had kind of a poor experience working there and decided, I need to go back to school and I need to fill in the gaps that I have and get that piece of paper that companies are looking for to get that dream job that I want that will be a good experience. And I actually went to the school I teach at now, Western Technical College, and I got an
Wow.
associate's degree in network administration. And one of the instructors in a very first term class here taught networking, and he had just started working here a couple years before I was attending, and he said that he was a student here and how great it was to be a teacher and how awesome it was to share your knowledge with people and kind of ignite that spark of creativity and excitement in nerddom, if you will. And after I graduated, I ran my own company for a little bit doing IT consulting. And out of the blue one day, I got a call from this instructor who actually, to be honest with you, I didn't even remember giving him my phone number. So, and putting him in my phone because it came through with his name. And I was like, why is he calling me? And he said, there's a job opening. And I applied, and 3.5 years later, here I am.
Wow. So let me ask you, in the industry now, it was you needed that degree in order to teach there, but how important do you think a degree is in IT these days? Because there's
It really,
debates on every side about this one.
yeah, it's kind of interesting because before I went back to school, my opinion was that it was silly to need to get a piece of paper because if you can prove that you know how to do something, why should a piece of paper be necessary? If you can show, if you're a programmer, for instance, and you could show like a GitHub repository of like a project you've done or demonstrate, your home lab or anything, right? If you have a YouTube channel that talks about tech, that's a big thing now. If you could demonstrate proficiency by showing what you know, why do you need to spend all this money? Because it is expensive to get an.
I'm going to cut us off there. Yeah, Ron, I didn't use much of what I did in my degree either, but I think in my case, I think it taught me how to think, how to learn, how to do logical things like design of experiments, changing one thing at a time, and more how to learn, I think, in my case. I didn't use that much. Steve used a lot straight out of his degree. I mean, he actually used his textbooks as at work, which was definitely not what I saw.
I don't know if that's just the nature of the work. I'm not sure why the difference.
Yeah. Grad school, man, I didn't use anything I learned in grad school. Not one single thing.
Really?
No. Not anything. Not zero. Let's see. All right. Well, thanks so much, Teg. I have a feeling we're going to get back together and talk about more stuff soon.
Love to.
All right. Talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Okay. I don't know. I did a double sign off. Sometimes I do that. I'll get rid of that. Well, I hope you all enjoyed listening to Teg talk about working at a university. No, that's not it. Well, I hope you all enjoyed Teg as much as I did. We talked for a long time afterwards, and I actually need to upgrade the server that podfeet.com runs on. I need to go from the deprecated OS, it's running on CentOS, and I've got to move from that to something else. I think we're going to go to Rocky Linux, and Teg is going to help me do it. So fingers crossed that goes as well as we hope. I'll give you more information on that later, but he's such a great guy, and he's volunteering his time to help all of us to have a smooth experience as we move over to the new OS. But that's going to wind us up for this week. Did you know you can email me at allison@podfeet.com anytime you like? You have a question or a suggestion, just send it on over. Tell you what happens when you send me emails, we become friends. It's awesome. Remember, everything good starts with podfeet.com. You can follow me on Mastodon at podfeet.com/Mastodon. If you want to listen to the podcast on YouTube, podfeet.com/YouTube. If you want to join the conversation, you can join our Slack community at podfeet.com/Slack. You can talk to me and all of the other lovely NosillaCastaways in there. You can support the show like the 2017 crew we talked about today at podfeet.com/Patreon. Or if you don't like the idea of a subscription, do the one-time donation at podfeet.com/donate with Apple Pay or any credit card. Or you can use podfeet.com/PayPal for donations as well. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, head on over to podfeet.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCastaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Unmute, unmute, unmute. I did no muting today.
Sounds like a Monty Python song.
Oh, I'm a lumberjack and my friend Eric taught that song to Lindsay, taught Lindsay to sing it when she was about
4, I think. 5, maybe?
I'm not sure she was that old. I think she might have been 3.
She still had that funny way of pronouncing some words, like the R's were mispronounced.
We have video of her when I believe she's actually naked when she's singing it too. It's suspenders and a bra. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that one we don't
can't publish
put on
that
media.
one, I don't think.
Yeah.
All right, let me listen to this. Whoops. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed.
I forget. Did you put your jingle in front of Tag's
I
interview?
think I did. Let's see. Yep. It's there. All right. So I can count the chapters on one hand.
Wait, why is that jingle so much longer than the one before it? Oh, that's it.
Some of them are longer.
I guess I don't know what segment. Is that middle one right now, Tag? The one in the middle?
That one's Teg. That's Chit Chat.
Ah.
And this is the money.
Oh, so that was a chit chat. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's the jingle.
I have not published it yet, though. I have not published it as a chit chat. I'm going to.
And then it'll have a link?
And then it'll have a link. I don't know.
All right. Well, but it has a chapter mark. So I count 4.
Good.
Mike's putting 5 out there. Oh, no, he's putting 6 out. All right. That's a little AI issue.
There you go. Let's see if I didn't mess anything up at this end when I did that. No. Subscribe. Everybody should listen to Jill's podcast. She does her podcast live on YouTube now. I think she got infected by Doc Rock.
Oh,
at MaxDoc, right?
That's easy to do. He's infectious.
Yeah, the Pluto one was really good. Steve, we need to go to Flagstaff and go to the Lowell Observatory.
Yeah?
I was always been watching the videos. Cool. Link them up, Jill. The only problem is you can't comment on her posts, on her videos.
By design, I assume.
Well, she's chosen to do them. She clicked the box that said for kids, and apparently, if you do that, you can't have comments.
I didn't know that. Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're done.
I think we are.
Yeah, we are. So I think we should say goodbye.
I think we should. Next week, we should be here.
Yeah, we're on target.
I think we are on target for next week. Yeah. The 31st will end the month.
All right. Sounds good.
All right.
Oh, you can't add such a video to a playlist to save it for later. Ooh, a lot of downsides to that. All right. Well, we can stay chatting about that problem, but Steve and I are going to get out a video. So goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.